Hey everybody, what's going on? Hexlex with another Master Duel video here for you. So today we're going to be taking a look at a surprise announcement, one I certainly didn't see coming. I actually just saw this pop up in my notifications. I was actually just about to sign off Master Duel when I saw this headline right here. So I actually haven't clicked this yet, and I actually haven't seen this yet. I got the notification on one of the Discord servers I'm on as well just a few minutes ago. So this is going to be an actual literal first reaction to the upcoming Forbidden Limited List update. So let's go ahead and I'm really excited actually. Let's take a look and see what we've got here. Expected date for Forbidden Limited List implementation is going to be February 6th. I wonder if that's going to be when our next selection pack will be, probably on the 7th maybe? Compiled trends, yada yada yada. Cards to be forbidden. Union carrier and totally awesome. Huh. Wow. Okay. You know, I want to actually look at the whole list before I just start talking. So, but right off the bat, we actually do see two cards getting banned. Union carrier and totally awesome. Interesting thoughts about both of those. Let's go ahead and keep scrolling down here. So, oh my god, I just saw grass. Okay, cards to be semi-limited. That grass looks greener. There can only be one. Wow, okay, Dimension Shifter, Infernity Launcher, Conquistador of the Golden Land. Okay, so as always, it looks like blue is cards that are getting, decreased, and then white is cards forged to maximum number of copies is increased. Okay, so yeah, Union Carrier and totally awesome. Union Carrier goes, I think, from 3 to 0. I don't think it was at 1, right? I mean, not that it really would have mattered if it was at 1, because you only played 1 anyway. Totally Awesome, I'm pretty sure, was actually at 1, because that is actually an extra deck monster you would play 2 of, but if you could. But now you can't play any, it's at 0. Dang. Okay, so yeah, that grass went down from 3. That grass looks greener, went down from 3 to 2. There can only be one, went down from 3 to 2. Dimension Shift went down from 3 to 2. Infernity Launcher goes from 2 to 3. Conquistador goes from 1. Or no, yeah, duh. These both go from 1 to 2. Okay, cards forged to limited. The number of copies will be lifted. So this is just 2, 3. Dino Wrestler, Pankratops. Okay, Memories of Hope. What card is Memories of Hope? Hang on a second. I have to actually look this one up. I didn't even know this card was at 2. I didn't even know this card existed. What is this card? Memories of Hope? Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I recognize the card art. Okay, yeah, draw cards equal to the number. For those of you who, are not familiar with this card by name, as I wasn't just there, Memories of Hope is a normal spell that says draw cards equal to the number exceeds monsters with different names you control. You can only activate 1 Memories of Hope per turn. Okay, and then, let's see, Scapegoat, Danger Jackalope, that's interesting, Double Iris Magician, Salamander Gazelle, wow, and Cursed Eldland. Oh, Cursed Eld, interesting. Okay, so, alright, we have a lot to assess here. This is actually a pretty significant list. There's a lot of, changes here. Nothing going to 1, interestingly enough. It's all 0, 2, or 3, but all the same, very, very interesting changes we're seeing here. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Cards to be forbidden, Union Carrier, and totally awesome. So Union Carrier seems to be a response to Adamantipator, and it's a pretty interesting response. I think it's a really good one overall. There have been a lot of people who have been saying that Union Carrier should be forbidden because it enables mostly the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword in any deck that can reasonably make Union Carrier and place dark monsters on its end board, which is often board load Savage Dragon. So yeah, having the extra deck lock attached to an Omni Negate is probably not the most healthy thing, just in general. So, but this is mainly a hit to Adamantipator, I think. And I think this is more specifically a hit in addition to Block Dragon going from 3 to 1, because I think Konami, like a lot of people, have, realized that, Adamantipator can still very much function as a deck mostly unchanged with that. Now, it is a consistency hit, but the Union Carrier is a functional hit. That is, a part of the combo that Adamantipator is no longer capable of doing. So, while the hit from Block Dragon going from 3 to 1, I don't think that necessarily knocked Adamantipator down significantly into Rogue. This, however, I think changes things a little bit, because yeah, that extra deck lock was honestly, in my opinion anyway, a lot of the main draw of Adamantipator, in addition to just putting out a lot of negates, which plenty of decks like Adamantipator can do. That one did have uniquely a pretty easy access to an extra deck lock. Next up here we have Totally Awesome. Yeah, so this is definitely a preemptive hit. And this, okay, so I very much think that sprites are coming like in the selection pack. That's probably going to drop on the 7th because that's about when the selection packs usually drop. This is a very much a preemptive hit. Sprites being a level / rank 2 / link 2 base deck. You know, Totally Awesome was a very important card for them. And to have that forbidden, you know, now when it's not really doing anything right now, like Totally Awesome, like, okay, here's another thing I'm actually going to look up real quick because I'm honestly fairly curious about this. What decks currently play Totally Awesome? I know back in the day, Prank Kids, like, you had the option to play Totally Awesome. And I'm pretty sure, you know, Sharks, any deck that can make Bahamut Shark, I have to assume is also playing Totally Awesome. Marine says, okay, yeah, Shark, yep, Kragan Control, Fluffle, that's interesting, Fluffle. Oh, isn't shoot, what is it called? The Octopus? Can you make it off that or something? You probably make the Bahamut Shark off that. Paleo Frog, Adventure Prank. Okay, so yeah. So, not that many, you know, very popular decks are playing Totally Awesome right now. I think Marine Sis is the deck among all these that sees the most current play, and even that is like a rogue deck right now. So, yeah, this is definitely very much a preemptive hit for sprites, which I think are coming. Like, that to me is a sign that these are coming. So, I don't know about you all, but I'm honestly going to start getting ready for sprites now. I'm going to start researching them, and I'm definitely going to be putting together, as I have with other major archetypes / cards coming into the game in the past. I'm going to be start to work on my, you know, let's talk about sprites video. This is such a clear sign to me that it's coming. Okay, cards to be semi-limited. That grass looks greener. Going from 3 to 2 is a really interesting hit. So this card, grass looks greener. You know, I'm going to have to look this up too because I actually don't know off the top of my head. I know it's banned in the TCG, right? What is grass at in the OCG though? It's at 2 in the OCG as well. Okay, so I thought that was the case, and I wanted to make sure before I made this statement, but it does seem to be true that we are tending to see that Master Duel's ban list, in not every way, but in a lot of ways, will mirror the OCG list, Japan's list, as opposed to the TCG, the North American / Europe list. So, yeah, the fact that we're seeing grass go to 2, that makes a lot of sense. And to be fair, this is also another slight hit to add Emancipator, but it also keeps other grass decks in check, like Dragon Lake, I think, is the only other real big one I can think of off the top of my head. Now, I think there will be some people saying that this might be a preemptive hit to tier elements, and I think maybe in some way that is a possible incentive for Konami to semi-limit this card. However, I will also say that from the research that I've done and just from the discourse that I've seen people online, I've just seen people say that, like, and, you know, again, from what I've seen as well, that, you know, the grass version of tier limits is not necessarily the most optimal build. I don't know, maybe it will be before all the Ishizu stuff, because I don't anticipate we'll be getting the Ishizu stuff in the same wave as tier limits, which, given that they and Sprites both came out and powered the elements, like, we could be seeing both of them coming around the state. Who knows? But maybe we will know pretty soon. Hopefully we will. But in any case, grass looks greener. I don't think this is necessarily an indication of a preemptive hit, but it could be. Who knows? There can only be one going to 2. This is actually something I expected to see on the last list, and I'm glad to see it here. There can only be one, I think, is definitely among the ranks of other kind of floodgate cards that have gotten semi-limited, mostly, you know, Skill Drain, Rivalry Gozen. You know, there can only be one as much like those cards. I would argue that maybe Summon Limit should also be semi-limited because it's a fairly common floodgate type card, and, you know, even then you can make the argument that there's a decent amount of floodgate cards. Maybe there can only be one that could even be considered one of them. That should probably go to 1. I think Skill Drain should probably be at 1 Master Duel if it's going to focus on a best of 1 format, and there can only be one is strong enough. I don't know. It's interesting because there can only be one has not always been the strongest floodgate, but in this particular format where you have Mathmex and Sword Souls as the best 2 decks, both decks being pretty much monotype, there can only be one that's particularly good against them. So, in any case, I do think it definitely deserved to be semi-limited. This is definitely a good hit. Dimension Shifter. Now, this is also what I would call somewhat of a preemptive hit, because Dimension Shifter is another card we're really not seeing much of in the meta right now. Dimension Shifter, we do see a bit more than Totally Awesome. Actually, a lot more than Totally Awesome, mainly in the form of Flandreese. Flandreese is a solid tier 2 deck, and even after the banning of Bigger Statue of Stormwinds, we would still see it played at about the tier 2 range. So Dimension Shifter is pretty much a staple in that deck, and to see it go to 2 here when it's only played like in a tier 2 deck is pretty interesting, especially given that we don't see really any other disruption cards like it going to 2. I don't know if I'd necessarily put Dimension Shifter on the level of like Maxi or Ash Blossom, but I think it's around the level in terms of like current usability in this meta. You know, maybe like Joel and Lockbird. Well, the thing is, Dimension Shifter is actually a really, really good disruption tool, but it's not usable in a whole lot of decks. It's mainly held back by the type of deck that can use it. Now, when Tier Limits became a part of the TCG and OCG metas when it entered each respectively, Flandreese actually saw an increase in play, and part of the reason for that was its ability to play cards that banish, like Dimension Shifter. So this actually, more so than Grasslook Screener, this kind of tells me that maybe Tier Limits are coming in the same pack around the same time as Sprites. That could very easily be the case. I see this as much more of a preemptive hit than the Grasslook Screener, again, because Grass is used not only in Adamancipator, which Konami is clearly looking to hit in the form of Unicarrier being banned, and also Unicarrier is not that healthy of a card in general, but Grasslook Screener is also a hit to other decks that use it, like Dragon Link, like many grass decks in the format. It's funny, actually playing in Diamond 1, it feels like, it doesn't just feel like, I've definitely seen a lot more grass decks than I see just on the ladder on the way up. So it's clear that 60 card decks are fairly popular. This card probably sees a lot of play right now. It definitely feels like it sees more play now than it has in any other point in Master Duel's history. That might be because, you know, as collections grow, I mean, this is the case with me, as collections grow, as you build more craft points, you can just, you know, naturally play more and more decks, and Grasslook Screener is a bridge to playing a lot of different archetypes, so yeah, I can see this card seeing statistically a lot of play, but Dimension Shifter definitely does not see nearly as much play, so this definitely reads to me as more of a preemptive hit. Alright, let's see here. Infernity Launcher going from 2 to 3. That's a good unlimit. I mean, when have Infernities done anything in the history of Master Duel? So yeah, in Launcher going to 3 is definitely fine. I think as long as Laval Chain stays banned, we just won't really see Infernities do a whole lot. So yeah, this is okay. Conquistador going to 2. I said to 3 for Infernity Launcher. Yeah, no, this went from 1 to 2. That's definitely fine. Conquistador going from 1 to 2 is also definitely fine. This actually could have been done a long time ago. Like, okay, so this is one of those, this was part of like the first wave of hits in Master Duel, right, that we saw around Season 5, and you know, as the meta has progressed, we've been able to undo a lot of those hits, except Ben 10 to 1. Ben 10 definitely needs to stay to 1, because, you know, do we really want to be in another Drytron hell? Anyway, so Conquistador is definitely one of those that has definitely been, I think, not just due now, but due for a little while. If we look actually at like recent meta reports, it's been a long time since we've seen Eldritch, like, honestly, even in Rogue. Like, I was looking, you know, for this most recent one that we did, I guess that we're going to do tomorrow, just whatever, that we're going to do in the near future, I think, is in the order that releases, you know, these videos are going to release. But, you know, we just haven't seen Eldritch in the meta very recently at all. It's kind of shocking, actually, because I knew that Runic, you know, being the floodgate deck of choice would mean there would be less Eldritch, but to not see it whatsoever is just still kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. But anyway, Conquistador, like, even beyond that, like, even before Runix came out, like, just before Runix came out, Eldritch was still not seeing much play, with Flundries being the kind of, like, you know, stun/control deck of choice. Yeah, Conquistador could definitely have gone to 2. And speaking of, like, changes that could be undone from that initial wave of limits in Master Duel, can we please have Fractal back to 3? Why is Fractal still at 2? Like, for real. When have Tri-Brigades done anything since Sword Souls came out? Yeah, that's just my plea, as a diehard Tri-Brigade fan. But in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at cards that have now moved to 3 copies. Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This makes sense. It's funny that this card started at 1 and was at 1 for a decent while in Master Duel, but nobody was really playing it, so except for like Sky Strikers occasionally, and then like mostly it was just blind, blind second 8-axis. So we lifted it to 2, and then it's funny, when it went to 2, Sky Striker just kind of stopped playing it because, it was kind of awkward to only play 1 when the card was at 2, but Sky Strikers really didn't ever have room for the card at 2, so, now at that point it's pretty much just being played by blind second 8-axis and nothing else really. I mean, maybe some Numeron decks, I guess, but pretty much diehard, like, go second every single time decks that aren't Sky Striker are all that want to play Dino Wrestler or Pancratops, so I think it's fine for this card to be at 3. That's definitely fine. Memories of Hope, in theory, is at 2, I'm assuming because of Numerons, which is the same reason that the Utopic Zexal is banned. That can very much stay banned, by the way, because I don't want to live in a world where Numerons are able to go first. But as far as Memories of Hope being semi-limited, I mean, I think my reaction of having to look it up says it all. Like, I didn't even know this card existed, let alone was at 2, so it's totally fine for this card to be at 3. Like, if the Numerons are already, like, if they already have the 4 Numerons out, like, yes, they can play this and draw 4 cards, but, like, they already have the 4 Numeron gates out. That's literally the entire point of the deck. There's literally nothing else at all that deck does. It's that one play. So, like, I think it's totally fine for this card to be at 3. I don't think any Numeron deck I've ever played... Well, I don't know about that. But I can definitely say I've never had this card resolved against me. Well, maybe I haven't. I forgot it. But who knows. In any case, Scapegoat, that going to 3 is fine. This card's literally never seen play. I'm assuming it was at 2 due to left being, left over from, like, Link format. That was mostly Master Rule 4, though. Like, here in Master Rule 5, where Links aren't, like, super crucial, like, and Scapegoat doesn't become nearly as important anymore, so that's a good unlimit. Danger Jackalope is a very good unlimit. This one's actually slightly spicy, because there's a decent amount of decks that make use of Danger. It's not just the blind second 8-axis, but also, of course, Phantom Knights. Phantom Knights really like their level 3 extenders, and in my opinion, the best ones that you can use, like, if you're going to use one level 3 extender engine, I would definitely recommend Danger, Jackalope, and or Sukanoko. Sukanoko tends to be better, but Sukanoko plus Jackalope is fine. But now with Jackalope going to 3, I think it makes... I don't know, it definitely adds more extender options to Phantom Knights. It's not really what they need. In fact, I will admit that it's been quite a while since I've played a Phantom Knight deck that actually plays Danger Jackalope, but just giving the deck the option I think is nice. This is a good unlimit. I like this as well. Double Iris Magician. I will admit that I don't know enough about Pendulum Magician to know fully how this will impact the deck, but Pendulum Magician isn't really doing anything too oppressive, especially not since, the Starving Venom hit, which, of course, the deck can still FTK, but it is definitely much less consistent now. So I think it's fine to give, Pendulum Magicians, throw them a little bone in compensation for that. Salamangreat Gazelle. Of all these unlimits, I think this is probably the most spicy one. Salamangreats already... Well, okay, before Mathematic Circular came out, Salamangreats were already a very solid rogue deck. And as we saw in, our free-to-play run, they can single-handedly get you to Platinum. And it's very much a deck that can get you to Diamond and Diamond 1. This was before Mathematic Circular came out, which, boosted the power level of many Cyber decks. Salamangreats definitely being one of them. And then on top of that, now you have a third copy of Gazelle. Third Gazelle is huge for that deck. Gazelle is easily the best Salamangreat monster, and to have a third copy, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing Salamangreats once this card comes back. Although, who knows? Like, maybe the part of the reason this is fine to come back to 3 is because, like, we're gonna see even higher power level decks. I'm so convinced this is coming. I'm so convinced this is coming. At the very least, sprites are coming. I'm so convinced of it. And tier limits, there's a decent chance. Again, it's this Dimension Shifter semi-limit. I think that's the biggest indicator of it for me. But totally awesome being banned now. Like, I mean, it happened too with Fusion Destiny, didn't it? Didn't Fusion Destiny go to 2 pretty shortly before DPE came out? It was like a month or so actually. So I guess it could theoretically be March when we see sprites and tiers, but I don't know. I'm feeling like this is a very telling. These are very, very telling hits. But Anyway, we do have one more unlimited to talk about, and that's Cursed Eldland, which alongside Conquistador, I think is going to give Eldritch a nice little power boost, and I don't know if that'll be enough to make them more relevant than Runic if you're looking for a Floodgate-based deck, but at the very least it will allow just Eldritch variants in general. And Eldritch is not just a Floodgate enabler as well. Eldritch is a fairly decent zombie engine, and is also a good branded engine too, so I don't know, I might actually do some experimenting with Eldritch. I did play the 60 card branded Eldritch variant before, so who knows. Let's see. As far as the rest of this, I don't think there's too much. Yeah, this is just the duration in which you can dismantle cards, so for the full value. So yeah, I'll definitely be getting, well actually I'll have enough for 2 Ultras right off the bat with Union Courier and that grass, so, and Dimension Shifter, no that's 3, so, oh wow. I'll probably need those if we're gonna see some new tier 1 decks incoming, which I have my tinfoil hat firmly on my head. I'm definitely thinking this is an indication of things to come in the near future. That being sprites and possibly tiers as well. I don't think, if tiers aren't coming in this next selection pack, which I do think sprites are coming in, I think they'll be in the one after it in March, but we'll just have to see. In any case, thank you for watching all the way to the very end. Let's just go ahead and move on now to our outro sequence. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end of the video like this. That means a whole lot to me. Not just personally, but it's also a great way of supporting the channel as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other means, you can of course feel free to comment and or subscribe right here on YouTube. I'm always looking to the comments section. You guys leave some pretty awesome feedback as far as like constructive criticism goes when it comes to deck building, gameplay, channel content, all that stuff. So feel free to leave your opinion down there. I will be sure to take a look at that there. And then subscribing is going to be the best way to get notifications of when these videos drop. That does happen every day, by the way, so if you're looking for daily Master Duel content, you've come to the right place. And there are more places where you can get some daily Master Duel content. If you check out the description below, follow the top link over to my Patreon page. There for just $5 a month, which is as much as you pay for a booster pack. You'll find a lot more value than a pack full of filler over there. We've got some previews for content upcoming here on the channel. We've got some exclusive games that are only posted over on Patreon over there. We've got some Q&As, and then you can also have your name featured in this lovely credit sequence where I thank all of the people who are helping contribute over there on Patreon. It's a huge support to the channel, and it really means a lot as well. So thank you everyone who is donating that is featured here on screen. And again, you know, it's not just a pure donation, you do get some more daily Master Duel content over there just for being a part of the Patreon. But I think that's about all the time that I have for today's video. Once again, I just want to thank you so very much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. Again, it just means a lot as I do put a decent amount of work into getting these videos out every single day. But that's about all the time that I've got for now. So without further ado, this is XLex. I'm signing out, and I hope you have a fantastic day.